that house.
It's probably
That broken window. They never fix it because they're cheap.
I know, I wonder why.
I think it's really easy to say that a lot of what happened with Cory was mostly him.
Not yet. Wait, oh, okay, fine. Looks like we're going.
I mean, literally, the journey that he went on to finding her was dangerous, and he was determined to find her, and
Oh, look, your TV is still there.
when he said that he was going to do it, I believed him.
One of the major reasons why I didn't get adopted is because my mom never showing up for court, and the social workers could never find her. They had addresses and numbers, but numbers were disconnected or to just different people's numbers, and my mom was a very hard person to find, so.
When Cory's mom was pregnant with him, it was the first time I'd ever been around anyone that was ever pregnant. She was 16, my brother was 19, and I was involved a lot. I was there all the time, and up until he was born. And then when he was born, I was the first person to hold him after, of course, the parents. And he's the first baby that ever gripped my finger, and he had my heart ever since then.
I grew up with my mom doing meth, and so when I was younger, it was not a strange environment being around it. Just the houses we lived in, I went to so many schools.
So when I used to go pick up Cory from his house, there would be garbage piled on the floor, and they would just kind of dig pathways through dirty diapers on the floor, the kids screaming. They wouldn't have food in the house. We would buy groceries for him to take home. His bedroom he shared with his uncle and was the size of a closet. He would bring over the whole family's laundry, and we'd wash all the family's laundry. They never had to get up and go to school. Even if they wanted to get up and go to school, they needed to stay and take care of the kids.
I would cook them dinner, me and my sister Paige. She's close to my age, she's 16 and I'm 18. And so Paige would usually change the kids and clean them up. I would cook dinner and clean the house. And that's pretty much the roles we would do. We'd take them out for, go to parks. Just the things my parents wouldn't do.
The summer that he was 9 is when he stayed the first full summer. And then it stayed like that when he was 10 and when he was 12.
I wonder how long that's been here.
Longer than your grandma.
I wanted him to be able to be a kid and not be a parent. So instead of him bringing family's clothes over and washing them, for me to be able to wash his clothes for him to be able to, his only concern in life is to get up and go to school. Right before his dad died, he really, really wanted to move in here. He was failing in school, all straight Fs. He was missing, I think he missed over 120 days of school. And I was always a little bit intimidated by his mom, and so I was kind of working up the courage myself to talk to her and try and get it done. And then after his dad passed away, that's when we were going to make it permanent. The process is, if mom doesn't sign, you have to post in a newspaper for 90 days. And the state does, that says, this is the decree that Brianna Copeland wants to be a legal guardian to Cory Kircher, and it has to stay in the newspaper for 90 days. And if mom doesn't respond to that, it automatically happens, and you don't need her signature. Well, somebody let that slip through.
And then all of a sudden, we discovered this publication was never filed. At that point, we could not backtrack that date because then Cory would have been already 18 years and older. So that time period, that sensitive time period that Cory could have gotten the guardianship would have passed. So the only way we could finish Cory's guardianship at that point was to find a mom.
We had court, and he told me that he found his mom on Facebook and that he was sending her messages and she was responding. So at that point, Yoshimi and I had a conversation about whether or not Cory should be involved, and then Yoshimi pretty much just asked Cory, help us find your mom.
Vegas, and he owns a tattoo shop.
Oh, really?
I called Gavin because he's the only one I know that lives out there, and he's my best friend. And so I went and stayed at his house for a night. And the next day we got up, and around 1 o'clock in the afternoon we went out to look for her.
Oh, he's from Seattle?
Yes.
Oh, but he moved to Montana. 'cause
He
of the
moved to
tattoo
Montana
shop.
because he met a guy in prison that owned a tattoo shop in Montana. And so he moved out to Montana with the guy who owns a tattoo shop after they both got out of prison.
Oh, and then Paige found
Now
out.
that guy's going back to prison for murdering someone.
Really?
Yeah.
We walked around
So, yeah.
West Seattle, more White Center area about all day, about a good 6 or 7 hours walking from place to place, getting clue to clue, kind of tying everything together where we could find his mom. I didn't care about how far it was or if it was raining or because I knew how much it meant to him and how important it was for them to get signed.
Actually had people come in.
We walked over to my grandpa, Jerry. We walked over to his house, and it was trashed. He wasn't there, but his wife was there, and she told me that my mom hadn't been staying there, and that she was staying with someone named Jen, and she didn't know her number or where she lived, but she knew where she worked, and it was like a salon kind of thing, but it was closed. I felt pretty hopeless in looking for her when Jen's salon was closed. We were at a dead end. Me and Gavin sat there for an hour. We had no idea what to do, and we ended up just going back to his house. And that's when I remembered where everybody used to live that used to hang out with my mom and dad, which was his drug dealer and their little friends that smoked with them. That's when I remembered that, and that's where the hope came back. Me and Gavin went to my stepdad's drug dealer's house, and it turns out my stepdad was staying there, but he was separated from my mom. And he said that my mom was staying in an abandoned house full of meth heads, and so I wanted to go, of course, because I needed the signature. And he wouldn't take me there because he said there was people there that wanted to kill him. But the girl he was with said that my mom wants to see me and she never stops talking about me and everybody knows about us and that she deserves to see me. And so Gavin's mom and dad decided to drive us to the house, but they didn't want to take anybody in the car. And so she got on the bus and met us over where the house would have been. And then I saw my mom walking down the street and we stopped her in front of a McDonald's. So that's where we got to meet.
Is this the table you and your mom sat at?
No, we met at that one over there.
The bar?
In the middle of those three.
Maybe it was 1:30 in the morning, and I got a phone call from him, and he said, I got it signed. And I was like, shut up. And he was like, no, I swear to you. He's like, I found her. Me and Gavin went out all day. He's like, I'll tell you the story later, but I got it signed. And I was like, don't lose it. And he came back the next day, and he had the paper, and it was amazing. He's a little engine that could.
I think it was mostly Cory who made the decisions for his own life and made the choices to excel and I think set himself apart from other youth that are involved in our system and set a different standard for himself. Approving Brianna to be a caregiver was the best decision the state could have made for Cory, as opposed to putting him in foster care or a group home or preparing him to live on his own at a young age.
Even if the birth parents can't parent, a relative is the next best option if that relative is safe, because you keep that stability. You keep that child involved with its family network, its family cultures, its family stories, all the things that make us who we are. When we take a child away from that and stick them somewhere else, we deprive them of that ability.
The research has shown that children who enter into permanent legal arrangements are much healthier, they have better outcomes in all domains of their lives, that they have lasting relationships that will support them through their whole lives, and especially in those years in the 20s and 30s when most of the crises seem to hit.
When we look at a kid like Cory and we talk about that stability factor, all of those areas, in my opinion, of him are met because he has a stable home with a safe caregiver and someone that he trusts and someone that trusts him. And for that, I think he will be able to make better choices for his life and for his future, because he wants the person he loves and trusts to be proud of him.
Brianna is my aunt. She's my friend, the most important person in my life. She's done more for me than anybody has, which is more than I can say about a lot of people. She's my mom, pretty much.
When he first started living here, I had to wake him up every single morning. Come on, buddy, pull out his school clothes for him. Now he's up, he's ready to go, he's excited to go. Oh, we're gonna do this today, or is it cool after school if I go to my friend Ruben's house, or if I go to my friend Sam's house, or this and that. And he's just, it's different. It's cool to see him actually, because he never had like a lot of friends. And he's all over the place. He's popular and happy and fitting in, and it's great.
When I went to the court for the final hearing, when they signed off the guardianship, I took Cory and Brianna for breakfast. Afterwards, we were celebrating, and Cory, just like little kids, Cory could not stop asking me questions. So, Yoshimi, does that mean I'm no longer foster kid? And I said, no, Cory, you're not foster kid anymore. It's like, okay, wow, I can't believe it. 3 days before my birthday. Literally, that was 3 days before his 18th birthday. He was not a foster kid.
When I'm older, a while down the road, after I have my job for a long time, I want to have 3 kids and a wife and big house, the usual corny stuff.
You want to see a picture of her?
Yeah.
All right. Bro, she works at Subway, so I get the sandwich hookup. I have like $100 in Subway gift cards. Well, I had, because I bought everyone Subway. Yeah, like she gets them for free, because she's been there for like a year or 2 now. She just moved here too from California.
Sick.
Like mid-August.
Oh.